All right, guys. My name is Cedric Burl. I am here with Sugar Water CEO Samuel Anderson Sr. and Sugar Water COO Chris Perry. Today, we're going to talk about their company and what makes their company different from a lot of other companies out here in this space of sugar water. But right now, what I want to do is give you a little bit of background about me. I'm a high risk business consultant. I raise capital for clients. I bring in systems to automate manual tasks. And I provide exit strategies through mergers and acquisition. And Sugarwater CEO Samuel Anderson Sr. and his partner, Mr. Chris Perry, have entered in discussions with me and my organizations to see where we could actually go with their brand. So, with that being said, I'm going to let them talk a little bit more about themselves, and I'll let them talk now.
All right, welcome. So everyone, thank you for doing this call today. This is more like a call to action. I think people really need to know who we are and what we're about. I'm CEO Sam Anderson of Sugar Water. Of course, Cedric Burl here. We've had a history together. We graduated. We went to the same high school, actually. And then my partner here, Chris Perry, who stays out here in Fort Worth, Texas, with me as well. This is Sugar Water, and I'm Sam Anderson. So this is a beverage. This is a nostalgic beverage. It's a hydration beverage. It's not a sports drink. It's just something that we decided to put out that was, as we call it, the taste you remembered. And everyone has a story about sugar water, whether it was Kool-Aid or any other drink that you added sugar to. Water was the complete compound in the middle. So I'm Sam Anderson, United States veteran, and this is something I decided to come up with and produce to the masses, and I'll let Chris talk from here.
All right, thank you, Sam.
Hey everybody, how you doing? As Sam said, I'm Chris Perry, COO. Again, thank you guys for coming. Cedric, thank you for doing this for us. We are looking forward to meeting everybody, to getting everything together, get everything going. I don't have a lot to say. Sam is a talker. I'm over operations and logistics. I specialize in that. If we want to go ahead and get into the questions, we can.
Okay, not a problem. I appreciate you sharing that with me, Chris. Guys, this is one of the hardest questions, that starts out. What is sugar water? Why is it better than any other brand like it? We talk about the body armors. We talk about the vitamin water. We talk about Poppy. Talk to me on that level.
Well, I mean, sugar water is more appealing, right? It's a hydration drink. It only has 5 natural ingredients: reverse osmosis water, pure sugar cane, pink Himalayan sea salt, vitamin C, and 100% natural fruit. It doesn't get any cleaner than that unless you're just talking about water itself. Most of the drinks out there, Body Armor, Olipop, or vitamin water, they don't have a nostalgic brand, right? This is a nostalgic brand. This is the taste you remember, right? They came up with things that they had to scientifically introduce to the public. This is something we all know about already. So it's a better brand because our labels are clean, no scientific long words in our ingredients. It's just 5 simple ingredients. And so right there, we're already out front of our competitors. And that's why sugar water is important. I think we're roundabout in the naturals of sugars, our sea salt for electrolytes, which helps. And using reverse osmosis water, come on, man, it removes what, 90-something% of the impurities from water. That's automatically a 100% drink that you will want to put into your body. So we put this out, and that's it.
Well, and that kind of led into another question I had. Why should we trust your ingredients compared to your competitors? What makes them the best?
They're natural. I mean,
Okay.
you're talking about 100% natural fruit. That's something everybody needs for their body, whether it's vitamin C or any other vitamins. We chose vitamin C because it's a more common vitamin that people are using every day that they actually need. So we decided we would stick with that. you use reverse osmosis water and not put ingredients in it trying to hide flavors or hide some other long scientific word that's not good for the body. A lot of people use stevia and artificial flavors and artificial coloring. Ours is clear, 100%, and we don't use any artificial colors.
Well, with that being said, I understand the ingredient standpoint. What actually makes your company credible? Why would somebody listening to this, or why would I or anybody else, want to work with sugar water or invest in sugar water?
I mean, look at the slogan, the taste we remembered, right? The taste you remembered. Everyone has a history of sugar water, right? So if you drunk Kool-Aid back in the day, what was the compound? What was the main ingredient? Sugar and water.
Sugar and water. Yeah,
Sugar and water.
we
So
grew up on that.
yeah, we grew up on that. So it wasn't nothing that we had to go out and try to create. This is something that we've all trusted since we were kids. So it didn't make sense for us to try to go out and get into a lab and start putting bad chemicals, into a bottle and then tell people to drink it.
And that's another question you just answered for me. As far as your formula, you're scientifically verified as safe for human consumption. Who actually approved that? How did you go about making sure that this is
Oh yeah.
verified?
Well, we dealt with Waco Bottling Company in Waco, Texas, because that's where Chris is actually from. So, but we deal with Waco Bottling Company, who actually who deals with Dr. Pepper and a whole bunch of other flavors out there on the market. This is one of the top scientists that has been, or as they call it, a formulator in the industry. He formulates a lot of the formulas for a lot of the companies that we all know. So why not go to one of the best and have him formulate our product, right? And when he formulated our product, Chris knows, he said, hey, this is it. I mean,
Yeah.
he was actually sitting there drinking the testing tubes up. And he was like, yo, nobody has done this. This is clean. And they're FDA approved, right? They're FDA approved, so we didn't have to worry about that. And I mean, we're good for human consumption, in which those tests have been already done.
What actually inspired you to do this?
Whoa. Well, to be short, because that's a long story, I'm gonna be real short on this one. We have other business opportunities that we've been dealing with for the last few years. From the production company to IT stuff, right, Chris?
Yeah.
To a lot of technical things that have to do with the auto industry. We actually invented and created something for the auto industry, but because of the funding on that, we decided that's a little bit too much money. If that hit the market, everybody's going to know who we are. But we had a phone call and I said, hey, man, we got to do something. And we were just sitting there picking a brain. And I said, man, one day, you know what? I'm just going to get some water. What did I say? Some water, throw some sugar in it, just call it sugar water. And we paused on the phone. And I started typing. I said, hey, man, look up the benefits of sugar water. And he was already doing it, as I already know he's going to do. He was already doing it. And when we seen the benefits of sugar water, we was like, nobody ever told us this? So you mean to tell me that's why we were healthy as kids? Because we were drinking sugar water? So we
Okay.
decided to put something together and actually put it in a bottle, but make it clean and make sure it had a clean label.
And with that being said, how are you positioning yourself, or would like to position yourself, to deal with giants like Coca-Cola, Pepsi,
Yeah.
Nestle?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not trying to compete. I think a nostalgic brand speaks for itself. You have the health conscious individuals out there, or as we call them, health conscious gurus, right? Everybody wants something clean in their body. What's more cleaner than water? Nothing. So we have a beverage that's already a water that you can freeze, unthaw, and when you still open it, it's still water. So there was no need to do anything other than that so that people can have something that they can be a little bit happy about. And even though it's just hydration, we're working on a few other things, but it's just hydration. And so you want your hydration to be solid. And right along with that, it has aromatherapy in the bottle. So actually, when you open that bottle, you have aromatherapy, with each flavor. So it allows you to have the aromatherapy. And, people know how aromatherapy works. There's a lot of people who go through aromatherapy on a daily basis. So we decided to put all that in a bottle and make it clean. And that's why we don't have to be in competition with them because we're nostalgic and they're not going to come up with anything nostalgic. They never have.
So what you're telling me, you're able to protect sugar water from being copied from your competitors? Is that what you're saying?
Oh no, it's proprietary from the jump. We did that with Waco Bottling Company.
Okay. So you don't have a problem there.
Nah, no problem.
All right. Well, let's get down into some numbers now that we know a little bit about the product itself. What type of investment opportunities are there with sugar water?
Well, we've had a few small investors already, which allowed us to formulate and get things done with the Waco Bottling Company. Um, Small investment, at that time, it was just 5 grand, right? And, they were looking at, I think, 1% equity in the company. These were people that we knew, people that trusted us, and decided that, hey, I want to be involved in this. And so at 5 grand and 1% equity is a very good start for a startup company because that really puts you at what basically almost $1 million valuation, right?
That's what I was about to ask you. What type of valuation are you at with
Yeah.
this?
And we changed some things up. We were at $1 million valuation, but we've been questioned about, well, how did you come up with that? Right? How did you come up with being $1 million valuation? Well, we looked at all our competitors, and each one of those companies automatically from the first day of sales all the way within that year, a lot of those made $10 million minimum, as some made what 20, 30, or 40 in their first year. So we valued our company at $1 million, which is a great startup, which is a great stance for a startup company. And we didn't want to be any higher than that. We could have, but we didn't. But without the sales, we decided not to do that.
Okay, so well, that leads me to this. As far as distributors, how will you scale distribution nationally? What are your thoughts and plans for that?
Right now, we're looking at pre-sales with 7-Eleven, Valero, Shell. We were going to hit Amazon first. We're going to hold off on it until we actually get out there a little bit more in some of the smaller retail places because they actually have, the corner markets, right? They have traffic through there all day long where people can actually see the product. Smaller retailers love um, startups like us because it allows them to give us shelf space, right? We're common people, they're common stores, so it allows us to kind of get in there and and make sales. Wholesale to them, retail for themselves, and so I think it's going to be a good marriage with that, especially since now we have an opportunity with about 24 7-Elevens that someone owns that are really looking into us right now, as well as some of the others around in DFW, Valero, and Shell, and Exxon.
So why should investors like myself or my colleagues or any investors that you're targeting believe that sugar water will succeed where many beverage startups have failed? And that's one of the things that we've been talking about, me as a business consultant, when we started discussions. And that's why we're having these talks and I'm doing this interview. What makes you think that your beverage as a startup will succeed?
The beverage market is, Chris, you're probably going to have to help me here. The beverage market is I think 200 and something or 300 something billion-dollar industry right now.
Yeah. It's about 275 billion.
A $275 billion market. A lot of startups don't have a marketing style or brand that they can actually put out to the public. Many of them are trying to follow places like, brands like Vitamin Water and everything, and their labels are trash. And I'm just being honest with you. And I drink a lot of beverages. But I'm always looking at the ingredients. So in order for us to be successful right now or even later, we have to continue to be the brand that people are wanting to drink. The first thing people are doing right now, they're looking up the ingredients on the bottle. They don't care about anything else except for the fact that it needs to taste good, right? And so since we have that, then we know we're going to be out in front right along with the big companies. We don't have to worry about it because the brand is going to sell itself. The nostalgia of the taste you remembered is one thing, but when they open up that bottle and they can get the aromatherapy with only 5 ingredients, and then, like I said, it's clean. So I don't think we're not going to have a problem with that. As far as investors even coming in, we're not going to have an issue.
So why not fund it yourself? Why are you asking for outside investments?
Oh, with any company, everybody needs help. Every company out there needed someone to come in. There's investors in every company in the world out there. Most people, even if you have the money, you still want investors. If I had $1 million, I wouldn't be asking for funds to come in for a startup. I'd already be out there, and then the investors would already come. And we know how that works. Investors want to see sales, they want to see receipts. And so for us, because we've put so much of our sweat and blood into the beginning stages, testing is not cheap. Ordering supplies is not cheap. We're spending gas, we're buying water, making sure there's reverse osmosis water. We're doing everything, all the ingredients, the sugars, the pink Himalayan salt, testing, formulation. Those things cost what, 20, 30, $40,000 to do. And we took that money of our own and we did that right along with a few of our investors. So at this stage, it's better to have investors to come along to help the company actually get out there in production.
All right. Well, with that being said, I have a few more questions before we close out here. We talked about a lot of things. Let's talk about now potential opportunities for investment and what realistically an investor can look at as far as returns. How often can investors realistically expect to see ROI, return on their investment?
That's contingent upon what those agreements are when companies are in the startup phase. Usually, a lot of investors, it's typical in business such as this one. People invest and they just sit back and they just wait. You have your first quarter of sales, your second quarter of sales, your third quarter of sales. You kind of find out how things go. Um, Investors who are real keen about tracking their return usually are just dealing with the company to find out, what the sales are looking like, which you kind of handle those in your personal meetings. But after we've launched and we're selling, those are conversations that we'll have to have with each investors for, quarterly payouts or some investors kind of like for it to come on the back end when we get into acquisition. So a lot of them kind of really don't look for anything until after acquisition. And that's when someone like Coke or Dr. Pepper or Pepsi says, hey, we love this beverage, like to cut you a check. And then every investor is happy at that point in time, but that's contingent upon, how it's structured, what investors would want.
Okay. Chris, Mr. Perry, is there anything you'd like to say before I have closing remarks?
Excuse me. No, there's really nothing I want to add, man. Sam didn't mention, our projections and everything that we looked at. We are looking at, we're projected to make 10 million within the first year, 50 million by year 2, 100 million by year 3. We're trying to look to rapidly grow this. As he said, our end goal is really acquisition. We're looking to be acquired. Now, as if we're not acquired early as we're expected, we are okay with growing the company and running with it long term until acquisition does come. As he mentioned, some of the larger brands, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and things like that, they don't really, from what my research and everything, they don't really like new competition. They
Yeah,
tend to buy out the new guys that grow quickly.
yeah,
They
yeah.
don't let us sit there. They don't let us grow and become a household name and things like that. If you look at Poppy, if you look at Ali, the moment people started recognizing them, started going to them, they bought them up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So the end goal is acquisition. But again, if they let us sit there, they let us linger, we'll, we'll go with it, or we'll continue to grow and go from there. But yeah, outside of that, I just wanted to make sure that was known. We are looking to grow very quickly.
Now, are you looking for uh, sales channels or sales reps out there as well? Opportunities exist with uh, outside sales team.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. As we grow, we are looking to expand that department. We're definitely open to opportunities to expanding our sales department, marketing, all of that nature. Some of the investments that come in will specifically be set aside for that.
Okay. Mr. Anderson, is there
Yeah.
anything else that you think that we need to know about Sugar Water, your structure, your mission, your goal, and where you're looking to go in this space? If it is, tell me now, because
Hey,
at the
come
end of the
on.
day, what I'm hearing brings joy, brings happiness, because this is an opportunity not only for you and your partner, Mr. Perry, but for communities, organizations. And one of the organizations or communities I could talk about is where we actually from or went to school, and there in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. There's opportunity there for hubs, distribution, but there's also opportunity for those investors around the world to be a part of this. In closing, is there anything else you think I need to know, or the world needs to know, or viewers need to know
Well,
as we close out?
stay tuned because, and I'm gonna put this message out there realistically for everybody. We are looking for those investors. I would love to have those who are in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, to have an opportunity at some generational wealth just by getting behind it. I think the city deserves it. I think the people deserve it. I know a lot of people there. We went to high school there. I talked to Chris about it. And I think the opportunity is grand right now. And for the people of Pine Bluff to get behind this would be astronomical. And I think it would be something that they would be real proud of to be a part of in the first place, and to become an investor and having just a small piece of what's about to happen before it actually gets out into the world. Because you and I, we all know that once this actually gets out there, heavily, investors are going to throw funds at us, just like they did with Poppy and Only Pop and the rest of them, right? Vitamin water sold for 4 point something odd billion dollars. They had 50 Cent behind it. Okay. Body Armor, billions. Olipop, billions. Pepsi just acquired Poppy for what, 1.9 or 2.1.
Mm-hmm.
And they're right here in Dallas, Texas, and we're in Fort Worth. There's a very serious trend about people saying that they have the best hydration or uh, flavored drink or flavored beverage. Well, we actually have it. And it's time that people finally know who sugar water is and finally get behind it so we can get things done. And that's what I want to tell everybody.
All right. Well, guys, on that note, we'll wrap it up. And if you're interested in investing, the information will be at the bottom of the video. Investor relations contact information will be there. Make sure you reach out to Mr. Anderson with any opportunities or insight that you may have. And we'll wrap it up. It's another opportunity for the world to participate in. And remember, all of us are in business with people just like you.
Peace out.